In this Smoking Brothers cooking segment, we're gonna do elk tenderloin. Now this is gonna be a short, simple, quick recipe. And for this purpose, it's gonna be more of an appetizer because this is my last elk tenderloin. But you can also do this with deer tenderloin or any piece of meat like this. So simple recipe again. You need an elk tenderloin or a deer tenderloin or whatever it is, any type of tenderloin. We'll need a little bit of olive oil, some pepper, and this is peppercorn pepper, so in this grinder, so we're gonna grind it up. And then I'm using Smoking Brothers Butt the Kitchen Sink. So with Butt the Kitchen Sink, this is more of a base seasoning, and then you can add your own spices or whatever it is. So that's where the peppercorn seasoning comes in. So we're gonna get started here on this. Again, simple recipe. Put it on the smoker till the internal temperature reaches 120, and then we're gonna put it on the heat wave to sear it. And then we'll have a nice medium rare tenderloin here. So I'm gonna get this prepped and we'll start the process. All right, so this was a frozen piece of meat here. I'm just now cooking it. I actually let it sit in the fridge for about a week. Took it out of the freezer, let it sit in the fridge at whatever fridge temperature that is, 40 something degrees, and let it age in there, a little wet aging for about a week. It'll make it a little bit more tender and it'll be super good. So set this out about 3 or 4 hours ago out of the fridge and bring it to room temperature. That's one thing you want to do whenever you're cooking this meat. You'll get a much better, more even cook to it. So I'm just going to coat it with some olive oil here and then just brush that in. Again, super simple. This will just keep it from sticking to the grill, help the seasoning stick onto it. Both sides. The other thing I did, I got all of the trash off of this. So there's a little membrane on a lot of these, on most of your meat, and some tendons and gristle and the white tendon stuff. So I get all that off. I'll make sure it's a clean piece of meat. All right, that looks good. Now we'll start with our base of Butt the Kitchen Sink. Just a great base rub, a little bit of sweet to it, tiny bit of spice, but our main spice is going to come from that peppercorn, a little bit of heat from that, and additional flavor. Okay, that's good. And just pat it in. A lot of people call these rubs, but again, you don't want to rub it too hard and rub it off. We're just going to pat it in. One thing I did forget to mention, when I open this out of the package, I always go ahead and rinse off my piece of meat and then dry it off with a paper towel. Peppercorn pepper on this thing. That looks pretty good. Oh, there we go. All right, it's a little harder on your arms than what you think. So, all right, I'm gonna get this on the grill. I got the smoker heating up. I'm gonna smoke this until I get an internal temperature of 120. I'm gonna start the smoker at 225. Shouldn't take too awfully long, 20 minutes maybe. And then we'll crank up the heat and put it under the heat wave to sear it, and we'll have a perfect medium rare to medium elk tenderloin. So let's get it done. All right, got the smoker It's up to 222, so it's getting there. That's it on 225. Go ahead and lay this in there. We'll get that smoking. Cool thing about Smoking Brothers, you can get a thermostat that comes with it, and then it plugs in right into your smoker, so you can get a good internal temperature without having to open it up. So stick that, actually I'm gonna go this side. Stick that in there, get it in the middle, and time to look here. Just gonna plug this in. And we'll know exactly when it's 120. And then again, we'll crank up the heat, put it on the heat wave, sear it, and boom, we're done. All right, we've got 120 on our tenderloin. So we're gonna transfer it. Take this thermostat out. We don't need this any longer. There we go. We're gonna transfer it onto the grill grates with the heat wave. I cranked up the temperature to 400, and this thing will just keep pumping out the heat, and that heat wave directs, actually I'll just show you, the heat wave directs the heat under the grill grates, and we'll put a nice sear on this tenderloin, and it'll be A1 prime here in about 10 minutes, and we're done. All right, had it on here for just a few minutes. You can see those grill marks, the grate marks. We're getting a good sear on it. I flipped it over. We're gonna run it for another 5 minutes on the other side. So, and then we should be done with a good, I like rare, but we're making medium rare, rare to medium rare tenderloin. But again, you're just gonna cook to order after the initial smoke and getting it up to 120 and put that final sear on it. So not much longer. All right, it's been about roughly 10 minutes, 5 minutes on each side. And this should be cooked to a super nice rare towards the middle, medium rare towards the outside. So we're gonna cut it right down the middle. Actually, it's a little bit more done than what I'd hoped, but that's okay. About a medium rare in the center, medium on the outside. There's a nice little slab of it. Elk tenderloin, beautiful slab of meat. Again, when you're cooking wild game, if you overcook it, that's when it gets tough and gamey. It's gotta be medium rare, rare, medium at the most. And we're looking at medium rare in the center, medium on the outside. It's good stuff.